welcome to Railcar Restorers. I'm Michael.
I'm Paul. And I'm Johnny, and welcome to Destination DMU.
So, to everyone, today's objectives for me are to weld in new panelling here and sort out painting the framework where the steel will cover, and also take off this door hinge here and then weld in the new panelling to complete this panel, weld the roof to the body side up there, and that will complete this section of the DMU. And over to Johnny.
My objectives for today, help him with that as and when. Pieces are already fabricated out, but I've got to get this hinge back in. We took it out to get the new panel in. I've got to drill it, I've got to tap it, put some bolts on, put some nuts on the other side, get the machine screws in, which you will see later on. And also finish off the roof, another job Michael's going to be doing, because we just put it together for now, get it painted, make sure it doesn't rust. We've got to make it look nice. We've got to fill in this gap, make sure water can't get in.
So, as well as those bits from you can see from the outside, we've got in here, this is a bit of the framework. It also needs to come out. So I'm also going to be taking that out, and then we'll obviously weld it in here on the bit you can see here. We'll do that. Also on the inside today, what you can see here is part of this new panel. This is where the window is, but all of this, some of it isn't yet painted, the framework, because we got it in, just got it in. So this all needs to have a coat of tar paint. Also where we've welded up there, also needs to have some tar paint. And also, as you can see, where the pull chain cord goes through, that also needs a paint of Williamson's, and then some tar paint covering it. So, as you've just seen, apologies for the noise. Michael is welding over there, keeping an eye out for fires, etc. There's nothing flammable over there, but just in case, it's just why I'm doing a bit of the work in the DMU at the moment. And after he's done welding, I'll paint that panel, which you'll see soon. But as you would have seen, I have now in here. You would have seen that I took the took that bit off that I was talking about. I also took out on these uprights on the structural steel. They had some kind of like rectangular tube as like a buffer to then put wood on. So they kind of used it as a spacer. That was all rotten, so we're getting that out because, well, that's not going to stay there anyways. So I got that out. And also I ended up up here, which if you come along here, you'll see there's meant to be this here. That's a new one we put in, but there isn't. Reason why, it was too rusted on the ends, so I've made the decision to take it out, and we'll put a new one in. This bodywork panel is it's about as far as we'd go to keep original material in, because the one that we've done, we put completely new bodywork in. That was completely shot. Like, it literally looked like it had been shot. There was holes in it everywhere. You name it. This panel that I'm working on, that you've just seen me working on, it's about the limit of we've decided of where we'll go as far as, you know, just not replacing the whole thing. but thankfully the framework was rusted up enough that we can actually get it out. And if you look here, you'll see that's where it was. That's a new bit of structure we put in. I've still got to grind that, but as and when new framework goes in later on, probably in the weeks and months to come ahead, because we've nearly finished that panel. You would have seen us just put the roof in as well. There's a bit of it's kind of a little bit of lack of continuity because we filmed the intro after we put the roof in, so if that's why things seem a little bit off, that's why. But yeah, it's going well. It's a bit too rusted, so sorry you didn't see that, but it's basically the same as what I did down there, just up there. But yes, I didn't know that I was gonna look at it after I took out these buffer sections that they'd put the wood onto. I couldn't see behind it, and we couldn't see behind it, so we didn't know really how bad it was, but the ends were just kind of like a razor blade. They were that thin. So now, next thing you'll see me do, at least, is I've got all the painting to do. So yeah. So it's been a little bit, haven't yet painted, but I've done one of the other jobs that I said I would do. Kind of a bit kind of spontaneous. It wasn't in the order thing, so I didn't film it. But the hinge here now off. Wasn't very easy to get off. Apologies for the noise. It wasn't very easy to get off. Mainly because I tried undoing it, undoing the machine screws, which are threaded into the framework, and they're completely rust up, completely seized, and I ended up basically using a crowbar after getting a cutting disc inside of the door, which I would show you, but as it's on two hinges, I'm going to keep it in the closed position because it's got just a little bit more supported at the moment. But I cut into the bolts and weakened them. I wasn't able to get the cutting disc fully in there to cut them all, unfortunately, but with a crowbar I managed to just pry them off, and as you will see about here, it's a bit thin, so we're going to have to look into what we would like to do with that. It's the same exact area as the bit that I've taken off, so it seems to have held water in there, and the crowbar in me prying it off has bent it, which in my mind, and probably quite objectively, means that it's too weak. If I can bend it with a crowbar, trying to shear a few basically bolts off, it's not strong enough, so might not be able to, due to the way we've done it, we might actually be able to cut a section out and put another section in. But we will update you as and when we do that, because that's not going to be something we're going to do in this episode. That's going to be something that happens maybe on the next episode or the episode after that. So do stick around and keep yourself updated to see that. Get the notification bell on so that you will get notified when our videos come out. We'll try and make them regular. We haven't decided what day they'll come out on, but if you get the notification bell on, you'll always receive the updates.
For today's episode, I'll be stripping back these aluminium doors at lower height, and I'll be continuing on as far as I can. I will be working on the rest of the height when I can get some working at height equipment spare.
After running out of the special discs we use on the grinder for stripping paint off the doors, Paul went on to strip some of the rust off of the inside of the panel we're about to be working on, so that then we can just wire wheel it and go from there.
So I've come to the hinge job now. I need to get that hinge in. I tried to close it to get the holes, but because of the way the body work, I've filmed this after the event, so I've just seen well, you'll see now here, there we go, there is a gap. There wasn't a gap there before. Because of the way we'd put the bodyweight, we'd really shunt it up against the door and use the door as kind of like a guide. But there is a little tiny aluminium angle section that goes in here, so we've got to have enough room for that to go in. And also, it was preventing the door up here from actually coming out, so I couldn't actually close the hinge fully to get the placement of where I'd like to drill the holes. So you're about to see me cut that, even though I've already done it. You're about to see me cut that, and then I will talk to you after you have seen me drill out the holes for the hinge. So, as you've just seen, I've just drilled the holes. The reason why they're a bit out of shape in the video, like the middle one, is because there's actually a pin, and the reason why I've drilled 5 when there's 4 holes, there's actually a pin on the back side. It's like a stub, and it's like a locator for, like, so it locates the hinge in the right place. Obviously, when they were building them, that was an aid that helped them, or something like that. Actually, it could be absolutely irrelevant to that, but there's a 5th hole for that wider pin. It's about 10 mil, hence why the hole's a lot bigger, and also it's only comes out by a few mil, so hence why I haven't drilled the hole all the way through, because I simply don't need to. So now I'm going to hammer that on just to locate the hinge in the right place. I will be back very short. Well, you know what? The picture's going to come up when I've done it, of it done and in the right place. So I would have hammered it in. So what you're about to see is Michael weld up one of the patches after he's tacked it in, which is one of the aims for today's episode, was to get not only that patch in, but another one, and fill in there's a few pinholes in that panel as well. So those were, so you'll see him weld that in. I did offer him to explain it, but he's been quite busy today so far, so he just hasn't got time. So I've kind of been quite lucky. I haven't had as much of a workload as I usually would have on one of these days that we do these episodes over, because we film them over a month to give you something meaningful that's condensed. Well, that's the aim. It might not be, but so anyway, at least today I haven't had nearly the workload that I usually would, so that's why I'm filming all of this. So you'll see that when it's done, and you will see all. I'm painting next, so you're going to see that next, because I've been waiting for Michael to finish, and we'll be grinding the welds on that patch soon. And while he's doing that, I'm going to paint, because yeah, flammable liquids and hot metal aren't the best pair in the world. So I've been doing other things, hence why I've left it this late in the day. But yeah, I've got some lovely weather out here, and after that we will all see you to basically give you a wrap up of how unrealistic our goals were, or if they were, you know, if we're able to do them or not, which I think we can, but you'll find out sooner than I do. So yeah, I'm gonna paint next, so you're gonna see that. That's not a lot to explain to that. There's some bare metal that is in there. You probably won't be able to tell on camera, but I'm gonna go over that with some Williamson's paint, and then I got to bitumen the whole inside panel, and then later on I'll come back and go over what I've done with the Williamsons today with bitumen later on, or Paul will do it, or it will get done basically. But obviously we've got to have the paint dry before we can put the bitumen paint on, which is basically like a tar paint really. It's a little bit like what they originally used, I think. I'm not the expert on that. So I will see you there, and yeah, and hope you're enjoying the episode. If you are, leave a like. If you don't like it, don't have to like it yet again, because only by disliking it will we actually get you know, the idea of, you know, what we're doing isn't right. So like it if you like it, dislike it if you dislike it, and if you got anything that you think we could do better, or any information that you think might be useful to us, we're all ears, because every day is a learning day, especially with that old girl. She is it surprises us what we end up learning and doing stuff. So anyway, I'll see you at the end of a brush.
So unfortunately, this is all you'll see of Michael for the rest of the day. Unfortunately, we had an equipment failure on the setup that he was filming on, so this is the best point of view we could get, and unfortunately you're not gonna see him grind it, you'll just end up seeing the finished product. We should have that fixed for next time though.
Today I haven't managed to get everything I wanted done steel wise, simply because we've discovered a bit more framework needs doing, which will be done in the next time we come down. I have, however, managed to fill that nasty gap between the roof and the body side, so that is a time consuming job, so that we are a bit closer, but yeah, we're getting there with it.
So what's changed with what I did? Well, I did lots of little things that you can't really see from there. Number one, I took my jacket off. Number two, that hinge now is in roughly the right place. No bolts in it yet, but it looks good. Doesn't work good, it looks good. We are never going to get any water in here anymore. And apart from that, I've cut out the new framework for this. This will be in the next episode, as promised. And apart from that, there's a lot more green and a lot less black. So I'm a happy man. We'll see you next time.